Hello?
Sorry, I can't really hear you.
Okay, Lagos is considering reopening its economy at this time. How do you see this, Mrs. Ogunbambi? Hello?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, I can hear you, but there's a clashing sound on the background.
Okay. Well,
so it's making you clearly.
okay.
But I can hear you, yes, I can hear
Okay,
you.
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, you said Lagos is fine, and Lagos is just announced yesterday that the economy of Lagos will be reopened. They're considering the reopening of the economy of Lagos. How do you see this amid the global pandemic?
That the economy cannot just be for a long time. So even though it's scary, but we just have to look to the positive side. We have to keep social distancing. We have to follow their rules and regulations. We still have the cases going up in Lagos, but the whole world is opening up. So we just have to deal with it, and we just have to try and stay safe. For me, is now that the responsibility of staying safe has become your own personal responsibility. So the economy is open, so it's in your hands as an individual to keep yourself safe.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We will move straight to the education sector. That is of importance. But just stay on the line. We have a quick commercial break. Please stay tuned.
Chicken flavor ó wà ní aládùn edé, aládùn ẹja àti aládùn ẹ̀fọ́. Tasty Cube chicken flavor ó ń fúnni ní oúnjẹ tó gbádùn. Tasty Cube chicken flavor.
Súlè, wọ́n sì nǹkan bí? Ẹnu mi korò, inú pápá ń lọ́ mi, bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni sàrí ti fẹ́ parí. Àwọn ohun méjì nínú mẹ́fà tí ń ṣokùnfà àyà títa nìyẹn o. Àwọn mìíràn ní inú kíkún, ọ̀fun títa, àyà títa àti ikùn títa. Mo máa ń lo Andrews liver salt ní ìgbàkúgbà tí èyíkéyìí nínú àwọn àmì wọ̀nyí bá farahàn. Nísìnyí, mo lè gba àwẹ̀ Ramadan láìsí yọnu.
Andrews liver salt ń gbógun ti ní kíkún àtàyà títa ń wàrà sẹ́sà. Tí yàtọ̀ bá sí lẹ́yìn ọjọ́ méjì, kàn sí dókítà rẹ. 98.5.
Oluyole 98.5. Oluyole 98.5.
Yeah, glad to have you back on Breakfast Fiesta right here in Oluyole 98.5 FM. We still have Mrs. Titilayo Ogunbambi with us here on a telephone conversation all the way from Lagos.
Well, Mrs. Ogunbambi, let's move straight to the education sector. Undoubtedly, COVID-19 lockdown and the restriction is affecting education generally. But let's quickly look at the girl-child education specifically now. What are the peculiarities? How does it really, in a unique way, affect the girl-child education?
Alright, thank you very much. 70% of the students around the world are currently locked in. Schools are closed, so some of them have to go to school from home. And then in Nigeria particularly, since March, schools have also been closed down, both private and public schools. And we have 46 million children locked in home. For the private schools, they are trying to find other means of taking their children through their courses online. And then for the public schools, some states are using things like the radio and the television to, keep the students parents, not to miss school so much, just to give them programs to close the gap in their education. But looking at the disadvantaged communities and children living in underserved communities that don't have electricity, that don't have access to internet, for us, we can say that those children are actually cut off their education for now. Then the peculiarity of a girl child is that the girl child in our society, because of the patriarchy, they are used as the people that do the house work, the care work in the home, the cooking work, and most times they can easily be converted to maybe go and learn a skill, because boys are more at an advantage. They look at boys as they are more superior to the girls. So right now, what is happening to most of the girl children in underserved areas is they are overburdened with the housework. Most of them are used to meet ends meet in the home. And then talk about them being at risk of sexual and gender-based violence. A lot of reports that have reached us as an organization that's into ending gender-based violence is that most of these girls are being locked up in their homes that are supposed to be the safe places, but they are getting molested. Some of them are getting raped in their community. So that's what the girl child is facing at this moment. COVID-19 has actually put girls and women in very unsafe situations where they are being locked up with their molesters and abusers. Thank you.
Yeah, so Mrs. Titilaya, how do we help the girl child now? What are some of the solutions you want to prefer this morning to help the girl child in the area of education?
Yeah, so basically there has to be a lot of sensitization to go on, especially in those communities. For the education aspect, we have to look at the structures that are already in ground. A lot of advocacy has to go inside this law. We have to advocate to the government, from the local to the state and to the federal government. Those structures, those school structures that are already available should be converted into organizing informal learning structures for these children, both boys and girls, even though the girls are at the receiving end. Another thing is sensitization. We have to sensitize parents that yes, there are girls in the home and there are boys.
Hello, Mrs.
Yes.
Hello, Mrs. Ogubambi.
Okay, we have issue with the connection there. Okay, well, we'll try and reconnect with her very, very soon.
But in the meantime, Joe, don't you think that's a serious case we're talking about here?
It is
The
serious,
girl
and when you
child.
look at how vulnerable the girl child, the majority of them in our society, how vulnerable it's really after this time that we discuss the girl child education, precisely because a number of issues that has to do with the girl child, a lot of them being molested, and COVID-19 had also aggravated their situation, making them more vulnerable.
Amid the global pandemic, I remember someone
Physical
saying
assaults,
exactly
so many things.
A particular girl child who had a parent as essential workers. She was staying at home with one of her uncles, and that particular uncle actually got her abused sexually.
These are some of the issues that the girl child on a daily basis encounters. These are some of the very devastating.
Sometimes you just want to ask yourself, is it a crime to be a girl? No, it's not.
It is not.
Definitely
It
not
is
a
not.
crime. Definitely.
Procreation comes to being through the girl or through the females, our mothers. The girls that we failed to train yesterday are the mothers today, and they have this limited knowledge, majority of them not educated, and there's no way you can effect positive change in the society if the women are not really involved, because they own the home, they have their children.
Exactly.
They could easily inculcate good habits otherwise in their children. So the positive changes that we want to see in society, the real agent are the females, are the mothers. So that is very, very instructive. I think we have Mrs. Titilayo Ogobambi back.
Sorry about that. I think it was as a result of a network connection.
Okay, let's quickly.
Yeah, so where were we?
Okay, let's ask you this. We want to see effective changes in the society, but let's look at what we've been contending with before. We have COVID-19 now, but before COVID-19, religious perspective and also cultural issue affecting girl-child education now. And now that COVID-19 is here, we want the women that were girls before, whom we never educate, whom we never gave the right education, to effect positive changes now, and that is not possible. So how do we treat the issue of the cultural and religious perspective that is affecting the girl-child education?
Okay, so to answer your question rightly, if you notice there has been progress 20 years down the line or 40 years down the line compared to now, girls were not going to school at all. But as you can see, there's progress. If you look at the population of girls that are in school now and, compared to the boys, we've made progress. So it means whatever we are doing right now is working. So the advocacy that we are doing, the sensitization, we have to bring the community together. The religious leaders, some religions still in the north still kick against educating the girl child. We have to bring the religion together, the family members, that's the parents together, the government. If the government can pass all the bills that are already available, if the government can enforce it that every girl child should be able to go to school, so it has to be a collective input from everybody. Each and every one of us in the community has a role to play in making sure the girl child goes to school. So for a woman that has not been educated before, you have to sensitize her and you have to make her understand that making her child go to school, even though she didn't go to school, is an advantage to her and also to the economy at large. Now that women are going to school and girls are going to school, we can see the ripple effects on the economy. Once a woman is educated, she can cater for her family and even cater for people that are around her. So that is why girl child education is very important, and everybody is involved in the progress of this.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Ogunbambi. Now let's go to the online learning process of educating our children. How effective is this, or has it been?
Okay, so like I said, for now, it's just the private schools that are going through the virtual learning process. For the public schools, they've not been engaged at all, apart from the radio programs and the TV program, and some people in disadvantaged community don't even have access to it. So what you see is happening. There's already a big gap happening. The private school children are going on with their education, and I'm sure by August they'll be able to go on break and say they finished their syllabus. What happened to the public school children that are out there that are not going to school? So talk about the people that are even going to the virtual school. The children are just getting familiar with these options of education. The children are just going through to learn it. Even the teachers, like me now, my children, 2 of them are going to school. My daughter is just 3 years old. If you put her on the computer, she presses all the jargons, only if you sit with her to learn it. But guess what? This is what the Western world is used to. Right from small, they educate their children. So I think COVID-19 has actually opened the world into understanding that the world is a global village, and the only way you can connect to the world is through the internet and
Thank you very much, Mrs. Titilayo.
So it's a welcome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been nice chatting with Mrs. Titilayo Ogunbambi. She's the founder of Boundless Center Africa Initiative and convener leading Women Africa Network. Thank you very much for having us. So, thank you. And until we meet again for another interesting edition of Breakfast Fiesta on Oluyole 98.5 FM, I remain Elizabeth Awoku and saying goodbye on behalf of the supervisor of PME Femi Orimolade, and producers Adewale Tijani, Imabur Martin, Shegun Oyebode. Behind the console, Akindele Sunday and Kazim Folari, the engineer on duty. Chill.
Yes, it's time to go. My name is Oluyole. Keep this in mind. Train the girl child. You are training and building a nation.
Oluyole.